we're not scoring enough goals, we're not creating enough chances. And yes, there's a name that might draw some criticism from me, but we've got someone in Mesut Ozil who's known for creating chances, sitting at home on 350k. He's not going anywhere. Throw him in there. He's easily our best creative midfield in the side, but we're playing Willian, who hasn't had a good season for 3 years maybe. So I don't know why we're letting talent like that just sit by the wayside. We're just wasting him. And Thomas Partey, I don't know why he didn't start. If you pay 50 million for someone, I understand it's a baptism of fire of sorts, but if you pay 50 million, start him for goodness sake. He's there. You pay that money for a reason. And
has he even had any training sessions
with Arsenal? I'm not sure, but
if he hasn't had a training session, why are you going to throw him in the team?
What's happening, people, and welcome to Everyone's a Pundit. This is episode 49, and I am honored, as always, to be joined by some special guests. I've got 3inMidfield here today with me. Thank you. And I've got Stel from Shoot the Defense, whose mic seems to be, he's put it back on now.
I muted it out of courtesy in case I farted and then you pick up the sound. So.
Wicked. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And if you enjoy this, please give us a like as well. Gents, can you please introduce yourself for the viewers, please? If I can start with the coach.
Yo. All right, yeah. So Coach Kojo from the 3inMidfield podcast, and I'm a football coach also. You can also see my face pretty much everywhere because I just like to invade podcasts and just talk. So I'm pretty much everywhere.
Every place, man.
Shoot the defense to Usman Talks United to God knows where. I was even on Views a couple of weeks ago. See what I'm saying? So
yeah, man.
Yeah, but that was more of a painful therapy session. So yeah, I'm here. I'm about. But yeah, more than anything, I love talking football, and I support Man Red.
Wicked. Love to have you, man. And Cahil?
It's Man United. I mean, as a United fan, you should know that Pez have your license. But anyway, it is what it is. These FIFA fans. These FIFA fans, man. Anyway, I'm Cahil. I'm an Arsenal fan from the 3inMidfield podcast. Not exclusively. I've done a few other shows. I've done Usman. I've done Footy Says. Apart from that, I'm just here ready to talk about some football, man.
Wicked. And last but not least, Uncle Stel. What you
say? Yeah. You know what? I was going to cut Kojo. I was going to say Kojo's actually done more podcasts than Katie Price has had hot dinners.
Oh my god.
Say hot dinners. Yeah, Stel, Shoot the Defense, owner, host, pain in the arse. Antagonist, yeah, you name it, that's what I am.
A definite antagonist, people. Man's always antagonizing me on Twitter as well, pushing my buttons. You know, he loves it, this guy. But yeah, man, we had some interesting games this weekend, boy. So we're gonna get straight into it and discuss Tottenham 3, West Ham 3 as the first.
Okay, straight there.
Yeah, we got to get straight into it, man. We got to give the people what they want. Jesus. Boy, so for those of you that are living under a rock and maybe don't know, Spurs were 3-0 up. First goal inside 45 seconds. I think they were 3-0 up after half an hour, maybe even less than that. And then the game ended up 3-3. In a mad Lanzini, boy. Oh my gosh, that finish. Cahill, how was you feeling during the game when they were 3-0 up? Because I know I was twitching, but I'm thinking, Spurs are gonna win the league. All of this is going on. How was you feeling?
That's the thing. It was everybody just blowing smoke up certain Mourinho's backside. It was a whole bunch of people saying Mourinho, where was this Mourinho at Man United? Blah blah blah. Man United made a massive mistake. Spurs are going to win the league, and then the Cellini interview always rears his beautiful head. It's like, it is the history of Tottenham. You know, it's the history of Spurs. They always seem to be coasting, and then boop, here comes a blip, and it was a big blip because it was, what is it? Balbrena got the first goal.
Yeah, got
Own goal by Davinson Sanchez, fantastic, and then Lanzini obviously scored the probably one of the goals of the season. I'd say it was pretty good shot, but it was a great watch. I mean, Gareth Bale, I think he should have put them ahead by 4. He missed a golden opportunity. It was brilliant all the way up until his finish where he tried to be a bit too smart. But history of Spurs, man, they're always thinking they're gonna do something major, and they end up just falling flat on their faces. It's just beautiful to watch, man. It's actually beautiful to watch.
As an Arsenal fan, you must have been loving it, boy.
It's glorious, man, because it's just talk, and then boom. No end products, no trophies in I don't know how many years. But hey, they're going to be title challenges. They're going to win the league at the end of the season, aren't they? So all power to them.
Still, I've been speaking to quite a few Spurs fans recently who, you know, I think quite rightly so, have been really optimistic with where their season is going at the moment. Obviously, they battered us 6-1 a couple of weeks ago, and there's a lot of positivity around their club, Bell coming back and everything like that. Now, obviously, today's result is a bit of a freak one. Do you see them mounting a title challenge this season with Jose in charge and the players that they have?
Semps, you can't win titles or mount title charges if you don't keep clean sheets. And that's been Tottenham's problem for as long as I can remember. You know, the last time I remember Spurs being a very successful team were the early 90s when they won the FA Cup in 91 and they had a really decent finish. I think in 1990 they ended 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. Granted, they've won a couple of trophies since, but you know, it's always been a Achilles heel of Tottenham's not being able to keep clean sheets. I think today was like the 10th consecutive game under Jose. Correct me if I'm wrong, 10th game in a row that they haven't been able to keep a clean sheet. And yes, they've been blowing teams away. They blew Southampton away. They blew United away. But today, again, it was a twofold problem. The first one was obviously not being able to keep the clean sheets, but the second one was complacency. And there's something that I've always been saying about Tottenham for the best part of 5 or 6 seasons, in the sense that you can have the best players in the world in your squad in terms of ability, but if they don't have a winning mentality or just a mentality whereby, you know, they can hold on for 5 or 10 minutes, you know, at the end of the game when you're holding on by 1 goal or 2 goals, they don't have that. And defensively, it's a mess at the moment. But to be fair, I think they'll get it right. I'm not saying that they're going to be title contenders, but they will be chasing top 4. I don't think it's fair to completely dump on them from a great height because they blew a 3-goal lead. It happens to the best teams out there. I mean, look at Milan in 2005 when they blew it in the Champions League final. But again, it's got to be a cause for concern because when you look at Tottenham's central defensive options, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Dyer, and who else have they got really there? That can...
They bought that new centre back now, didn't they?
From Swansea, from Swansea, right? A Championship player. So how long is it going to take him to settle at the club? And don't forget, it's big expectations at Spurs. You can't go from Swansea to a top 4 club and expect to jump in straight away and, you know, settle. I think Jose is still kind of experimenting at the moment because I don't think he's got his best right back in mind at the moment. He's not playing Doherty, he's playing Aurier. Left back Reguilon is obviously going to be the number 1 left back. But in terms of the central defensive pairing, I don't know, man. I don't know. But again, it's a marathon, not a sprint, isn't it?
That's it. Kojo, just moving on from what Stel was saying about the winning mentality, is that something that you think Jose can instill in Spurs? Is he going to have enough time to get that done? Because now when I speak to Spurs fans, there's no excuses now for Spurs in a lot of their eyes and in my eyes as well. They've got a manager that they all believe in now, and they've got players. Do you think that he can install that winning mentality to stop stuff, you know, results like today or complacency like today happening?
I think he has the capabilities to, but they still got a lot to improve on. Just because they signed a lot of players this year, they got a marquee name in Bale into the team. It doesn't mean your team is ready straight away because we can still pick holes in the team, like centre back, where they literally suffered again. to them. They've been suffering for a long time, and the best time they had their best centre backs getting the best defensive partnership and all that, as we all know, they didn't improve on it, and they suffered for the next 18 months under Pochettino. So they're going through a process again of having to try and improve. And I don't know, I've never really trusted Davinson Sanchez. I know he's the youngest one right now alongside Rodon, but I don't trust him. I know no one trusts Eric Dyer or the Verordins in his last couple of years. So that even in itself presents a problem, you know? It's all well and good Harry Kane scoring goals and all that, but this is the whole point. Whether they'll give him the time now for Mourinho, they have to give him time. And it's key because I think I said once that if you bring in Mourinho to Tottenham, knowing what happened at United, you must back him from now to when he decides to go, or if it gets real, real bad. You have to back him. So far, yes, you've brought in a couple of players. It's COVID, so it's low to buy for some of them. Some you go able to bring in at a cheap price. But if you're going to back him, you know next he's going to target that centre-back place. You know 100% he needs to improve his defensive backline. Are you going to back him for that? Or is it going to be Tottenham don't win anything and then see you later, Jose? So for me personally, if they're going to try and improve their mentality and someone that's won at everywhere he's managed so far, I would say you have to keep backing him. But how long they're going to give him, it's football now, innit? You don't know what's going to happen.
Can I just interrupt 2 seconds, right? Now, when you look at West Ham's first goal, sure, you can say that the back line could have done better. But what was Sissoko doing? He didn't show any interest in heading the ball. He showed no interest. It's a team game. So you can't expect just the back line to be dealing with situations like that.
Oh, that's facts. Yeah.
Lanzini was 5 or 6 yards clear of anyone on the edge of the box in the last minute. Okay, you don't expect the ball to fall out to him and for him to blast it in the top corner like that. But yet it's still in-game tactics. It is something that you need to. I mean, these are professional footballers, for crying out loud. If I can see, if you guys can see it, that he's he's unmarked on the edge of the box. Well, so there's got to be a problem here, surely. So I don't think it's just down to the actual defensive line. It's a team game. Oh
no, of course not. But it's just a point of because I mean that is another thing. Effort is another thing. I mean, if you know a player's got the ball, I don't even care if it's flipping. Was it Phil Jagielka that scored a blast against Liverpool years ago out of nowhere? I'm sure the players, they were thinking, oh, what's Jagielka going to do? You can't risk that. That's making your own bad luck, because if he strikes it sweetly, sort of like how even Kompany, when he scored that goal for City in his final season there, they didn't close him down. And they must have thought, well, even Aguero and his own team was shouting, don't shoot. But that's the point. You can't give players time to try and do stuff, because if they pull it off, you're in big trouble. So it's not only a defensive problem, 100%, but I'm just addressing that because I know Spurs fans still pick at that backline. They feel like they're satisfied with their midfield, but they shouldn't be. It's not done yet. It's not complete. As Sissoko is a good engine, but technically on and off the ball, for me, he's not good enough. So, yeah, that's another problem in itself. But to me personally, they deserve exactly what they got.
Yeah, they do. You know what's getting me about Spurs fans, is a lot of these Spurs fans are acting like they're brand new. And what I mean by that is they're going on about, they're always tweeting now, oh, my manager, he ain't an attacking manager. Like they're being all sarcastic when they're 3-0 up. My manager doesn't attack. Or maybe we should get an attacking manager.
Hold on.
I know who you're talking about as well.
I'm going to stop you there. Let me stop you there, because when Man United, when we played Leicester City, right, under Louis van Gaal, and we went 3-1 up, and people were saying the Galacticos, and they were saying, oh, he's not a negative manager. He doesn't win games just on penalties. United fans were just as bad. The point I'm making, fickle, right? And they want to get their points across by coming up with some absolute nonsense.
Spurs fans were getting on to Manchester United fans when Jose was Manchester United manager.
Yeah, just like United fans again on Chelsea fans.
Talking about park the bus, even when he was at Chelsea, park the bus, Now, all of a sudden, that Jose Mourinho never existed. That's the way they're carrying on. You can't be going on like that, talking and being sarcastic.
One minute. Hold on. Right.
Go on.
I remember 2006, 2007 when we won the league, right? Won the league off Chelsea, right? And Mourinho was there. In fact, it was the FA Cup final. I was at the FA Cup final when we lost 1-0, right? And United fans were singing "Chin Up Mourinho," "F off Mourinho." And all of a sudden, he takes over at United, and a lot of fans were saying, "Hey, we're going to win titles with this guy." So, mate, it swings and roundabouts.
But
in all fairness, that was like
me,
10 years later.
It doesn't
that's
matter.
it.
Doesn't matter. Well, hang
But
about.
not just
Spurs
that.
fans
Not just
still
that,
hate Sol
Cahill.
Campbell, and that was how long ago?
Not just.
But
not just
there's a
that.
good reason for that.
You can still recognize the type of football that Jose plays. You can still recognize that. Do you know what I'm saying? You can still recognize the fact that he is pragmatic. He can park the bus. He can be defensive. That's never changed. That is Jose Mourinho. Would you agree?
No, because he did the same. He did the opposite at Real Madrid, and they broke the points record, didn't they? Didn't they take the title off Barcelona playing expansive football? And Ronaldo got assists, and Özil got 1 million assists, and that's why Arsenal paid £50 million for him, and that's why they were having street parades. So
Jose Mourinho doesn't. He's not known as a defensive
well,
coach.
no! Don't take the words out. Put words in my mouth.
No, because I asked you a direct question
he is a
about Spurs fans being brand new. And then you coming in defending them.
But they've got every right to be. Why shouldn't they be? They've had allegedly their best transfer window ever. They've brought back Gareth Bale. Harry Kane is probably the best striker in the world at the moment. They got Son, who's arguably one of the most best attacking midfielders in the world. Of course, they've got a right to be braggadocious and excited. This is what happens. Don't you remember when we signed Falcao and Di Maria and all these other players? You know, United fans were giving cartwheels.
Still, why are you bringing up the bad memories from that season? I forgot about that on purpose, you know.
You can't have it one way and then complain about the other. I get what Semps is saying. And Spurs fans, don't get me wrong, Spurs fans are in this era where they've got a new stadium, they've got a new manager, they've got a documentary now. They made it big time. You know, they're not Sunderland, but they've got a documentary. They made it big time, and they're excited. And I don't blame them. And after whacking us 6-1, of course, they've got every right to be. But the proof is in the pudding. And at the end of the season, let's talk in May. Let's talk in May and see where they are. That's what I've got to say.
Yeah, that's
comments. Dislike.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that they don't have any right to be excited. I said that at the beginning of this, that they have a right to be excited. The point I'm making is, don't make out like the criticism that Jose Mourinho has got in the past, one, wasn't justified, and two, wasn't something that you as a Spurs fan dished out yourself. Now, all of a sudden, he isn't that type of manager. This is the point I'm making. But anyway, they got what they deserve today, as Kojo says.
P.S. This is the type of result that would make Mourinho regress back into the manager that he was. It's similar to who's the match that United lost. It was because it was remember at the very beginning it was Blackchester United when he had Lukaku, Pogba, Martial, Rashford, all those guys firing, and you lost one game. I can't remember which game it was, and then he just regressed back into the manager that he was when he got fired the second season at Chelsea. And so this is the type of result that will have him regress back into making sure that Harry Kane, yes, he's doing well now playing in that deep role. I think he's learned his trade. He's done the work over the summer and he's doing well. He's assisting now. He's scoring goals. But there was a time when Spurs fans were like, why is Harry Kane part of our midfield? Why is he not up front? But like I said before, this is the type of game that will make him regress into the pragmatic manager, the defensive-minded first manager, where they might just nick a 1-0 victory.
Stel or Kojo, do you guys remember who that loss was? Because I wanted to find that out, and I didn't.
Best not to.
And I didn't remember, because we did start the season well that year, didn't we? I can't remember who
we beat Bournemouth on the opening day. We beat Southampton 2-0.
Yeah, and we were scoring goals as well.
Beat Leicester, didn't we? Wallop Leicester 4-1, wasn't it? When Smalling scored. I think what did Smalling score? I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember who it was that we lost against. Because Cahil, what you're saying is correct. I remember that because it was one loss, and then we did go back, and then we didn't sort of see that free-flowing football that we saw.
You talk about Jose's first season.
Yeah, Jose's first season. First season. No worries if you lot can't. It was just something that I actually did want to check before I came on here today, but didn't have the time. But anyway, we'll move on from Spurs. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. Is this just a blip? Can Jose get that winning mentality into Spurs? A lot of people are saying this is just your normal Spurs, but you know, we're going to have to wait and see if this is just a blip, because we are seeing some crazy results at the moment. Like, Gail, do you think that the fans have something to do with all of the weird and wonderful results that we're seeing at the moment?
To an extent. I mean, everybody, whenever you go to an away ground is always hostile. I mean, Liverpool fans will probably be the first ones to say that they need their fans back in the States. But I think it's just these players are tired, man. They've had a crazy schedule for the past when did they come back?
Can't remember
June?
exactly when. Round
Yeah,
about
June.
then,
So
I
they have a
think.
crazy schedule since then. They have had 3 weeks break. A lot of some players are coming down with COVID. No rest, no real good training sessions. It's just a whole bunch of stuff. Yes, fans. You can say fans do have there is a degree of the fans being missing, which might take away some of the fear factor.
Yeah.
But I think it's just they're tired, man. They just need a break. They need 6 weeks just to rest and recuperate, and then we'd get back to. Well, hopefully we get back to normal results, because nobody's expecting 1-6-1 United a few weeks ago, and then 7-2 back from Aston Villa. That wouldn't happen under normal circumstances.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy. If we was to just segue onto another high-scoring game in Newcastle 1, Manchester United 4, which, it wasn't actually a 4-1 game, I don't believe. Coach, what do you make of Man United's performance and the starting lineup from Ole?
If I'm going to be quite honest, I was quite disgusted with the fact that starting lineup. I was happy that Mata started, because I've been screaming his name for a while now, just because I know he's getting older, but I still think his quality is still very high, and his IQ of the game is still obviously very high as well. But I did think Maguire was going to get dropped. That didn't particularly anger me. It's one of them ones where I just thought he's either going to start. It's not. He's captain, so he's going to be in there somewhere. But I was a friend of McTominay, because I was like, where the heck is Van der Beek? Yeah. So, but I was asked this question yesterday of it worked or did it work? And I was like, no, not really, because the 3 last goals came when all the quality was on the pitch. Van der Beek came on, Bruno's goals happened. Pogba came on as well before Van der Beek. But Pogba came on, started to get a little bit more control. It wasn't great, but a little bit more control. Then Van der Beek came in, a lot more link up, a lot more quicker play from transitioning from back to front, and then goal. Even Mata came off, Bruno Fernandes, lovely pass forward, found Rashford. And this is my point. My point has always been, I understand fans are worried about, playing Pogba, Van der Beek and Bruno. How are they going to fit? Are you going to fit Mata in there as well? Because I keep asking about Mata, and I'm like, literally, when all 4 of them were on the pitch, goals happened. And in this generation of football where defending is absolutely embarrassing, I would rather your team take the risk of being a lot more attacking and trying to kill teams off, and then when you're clear, maybe trying to sit back a bit more than trying to play cautious, knowing full well we don't defend well anyway. You know what I'm saying? So why hold back on your attacking talent when you can go forward and hit goals the way you did? And the goals that we scored, all of them were pretty damn good. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't happy with the lineup, but at least we got the W. I feel like it's a 4-1 win, because my rule is if you score the goals, you deserve them. Very simple. So and Newcastle really, they had, obviously they scored their goals and own goal, and they had one shot that saved a phenomenal force, I think, from the header.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't want to say apart from that, because that's still a chance, but 2 moments, own goal, great save. They didn't really do much, so they deserve to lose statistic-wise, and I think overall in the course of the game, they deserve to lose, and we deserve to win. So yeah, I'm quite satisfied.
Wicked. Stel, as a United fan, I'm looking at that game and I'm happy because we got the 3 points, and it was a decent performance in the sense that we controlled the game and we wasn't under much pressure. But my issue with United is the fact that I believe that we always struggle to create chances when a team is sitting back. And those goals seem to come in the second half. The Bruno goal came from like a counter-attack. They had, I couldn't remember if it was a free kick or a corner in our half, and then we counter-attacked. And then from then, Newcastle then had to come out and play a bit more. Then we started to pick them off to get the rest of the goals. What would your comment to that be? Do you see any improvements in our attacking play, or do you see the same issues that I see, in the sense that we are still struggling to create enough chances when the team sits back?
Well, put it this way: when was the last time when was the last time we were that team that were incisive, that could break teams down? Teams that had 2 banks of 4. Yesterday, Newcastle had 4 defenders. They had a holding midfielder, 4 midfielders. So effectively, they had 9 outfield players behind the ball.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper, and then obviously Wilson was up top on his own. So the reason Mata started is because he's one of the most intelligent players that we have. Granted, he hasn't got the legs anymore to play high level with like your Liverpools and your Man Cities. But against your Newcastles, who I wouldn't say are as defensively astute as the other teams, he's a good player to have. And we saw how effective he was alongside Bruno Fernandes. And note that Bruno Fernandes was playing a lot on the left-hand side, which is the position that he played for Portugal in midweek. But in answer to your question, yeah, we haven't been that creative influence. But then again, how long has it been since we had that kind of, that incisiveness, that creativity, that flair to break teams down? I remember even under Fergie, we struggled to break things down. But then we had the likes of Ronaldo, we had your Beckhams, we had all these other players. But we don't have that kind of quality in our team anymore. We don't. Do we?
I think we've got some players.
Like who?
We've brought in Bruno Fernandes now. We've
Okay.
got Pogba on the pitch. We've got Rashford, Martial. We've got players that should be able to unlock defenses, in my opinion.
Should be able to. Should be able to. In what sense? Are you saying because they have the ability to do it, or the intelligence to do it? Or
both intelligence and ability. You don't think they've got intelligence and ability?
I think they're not as good as people make them out to be.
Okay.
That's just my honest opinion. But then again, the quality of defending isn't as great as what it used to be either. So it works both ways, doesn't it? Look, this is the way I see it with United, okay? And I'm going to get shot down for this. Our manager isn't tactically good enough. It's a fact. His in-game management is poor.
Yep.
And I'm being like pinicky at the moment. I could say like, his substitutions, the timing of his substitutions aren't great. I don't think he's ruthless enough. And to be honest, we've seen some quality goals, especially if you look at Fernandes' goal, was absolutely brilliant. The build-up play was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But as you said, you're looking at a Newcastle side that at 1-0, they're still chasing a winner. Now, if we're playing against, I don't know, West Brom, because West Brom are going to come to Old Trafford and they're going to play 2 banks of 4. They might play a 5-4-1 for all we know, right? Then what? They're going to try to force us out wide. And this is going to go back to a discussion that you and I had today on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Force United out wide because they're useless out wide. Fact. Wan-Bissaka, how many assists has he had? The poor bloke. How many times has he tried to put the ball in the box and no one's been there? Luke Shaw.
That is not, again, we were speaking, and that's something that I don't agree with, is we don't see him putting the ball in the box.
Right.
So it's not a case of him putting the ball in the box and nobody's there. We don't actually see him putting in the ball in the box. It's the same with Luke Shaw as well. We don't see Luke Shaw putting the ball in the box. That's not the way we play.
Luke Shaw's a different story. Luke Shaw's a different story, isn't he?
But is that because when United play, my issue with Martial is when we're trying to get into the box from out wide, there's hardly anyone in there to deliver the ball to. Because Martial likes to either come left or sometimes drop a bit deeper to try and get involved in the play. And yes, we are a lot left sided than right sided, so Wan-Bissaka doesn't cross the ball a lot. But I have this issue of why is it always Bruno Fernandes making the forward run? I don't have an issue with a midfielder trying to advance, but what about my striker? You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm happy Cavani's in, because I know he's someone that thrives on that kind of stuff. He loves to do that. But Martial doesn't do enough of that. That's my opinion on Martial, and that's why I feel like we don't get enough crosses in, because what's the point?
What's your opinion, Cahill, as a neutral looking at Man United and our setup and the way we play at the moment?
I agree that Ole is out of his depth. I don't think he's that good of a manager. I think he should go back to, was it Mulder? I don't think he obviously didn't. He failed as Cardiff manager, and that should have been an indication enough for anybody to see that he shouldn't be getting a top 6 job, or to be honest, the biggest team in England, which is Manchester United. That he shouldn't be getting that job, but he got it. Yeah, I mean, I think you have the players in terms of ability. In terms of having a manager to unlock that ability, that's a different story. I don't think you've had any manager that's unlocked any player's ability. I mean, Rashford.
Yeah, but Cahill, you mean this from an attacking perspective, don't you?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because
Defensively,
defensively,
you're
they're
shot.
shambles.
You're shot. Wan-Bissaka defensively is probably your best one, but then again, like you said, going forward, he's useless. Maguire, let's not speak of Maguire because boy, you got shafted. You got absolutely mugged off with that one. Lindelof, I personally think Lindelof is probably your best centre back, but then again, in the air, he's useless. So
he was to blame for the first goal. Watch the goal again and look how far he was from Callum Wilson in Newcastle's half. He gave him a 10-yard gap. Right?
Yeah, no. He didn't give him a. He got turned, didn't he? That's what happened. That's what happened to Lindelof.
Wait. So when you watch it again, look at his position originally. Okay, and then when he does get turned, he chases Sam Maximan when Fred is chasing him. So where's the communication there?
It's communication. It's also knowing your role in the team. Like when you face Tottenham, I think the video that went viral was when De Gea was telling Luke Shaw, go here. Like if you're a Premier League defender, of one playing for Manchester United, you should know where you're meant to go. You should absolutely know. That's that. But in terms of going forward, I don't think you have a good enough team. I think Matic is finished, so why not play Van der Beek, Pogba, and Bruno Fernandes in the same side? That makes the most sense. I mean, defensively, you're going to concede.
So who wins the ball in the middle of the park?
Say that again?
Who wins the ball in the middle of the park?
Pogba. Try Pogba. Try Bruno, Pogba,
have you ever seen Paul Pogba make a slide tackle? When? And every time Paul Pogba is playing in a holding midfield role, he's always doubled up. So every time he gets the ball, there's two men on him because they know he's that good.
Then again, if he has somebody he knows is comfortable on the ball, i.e. Van der Beek, he'd most likely give it to him to go. Here you go. Now he's got a whole bunch of space to run in behind. Then again, Pogba, technically he's brilliant, so I don't see why having two players on him would be a problem. I mean, now this season,
if you watch our game against Crystal Palace this season and our game against Crystal Palace last season, when they had MacArthur and Kuyat doubling up on him, he conceded the ball twice and they scored twice. That's why.
We've spoken about this still as well. Is the options the options that we create for our players is not there.
The options aren't there, and I'll tell you why the options aren't there. It's not because the players aren't good enough, right? It's because the system isn't good enough. Okay, watch the goal, the Fernandes goal. Look how many passes we played. Look how quickly we released the ball. You can't hold on to the ball for 3, 4, 5 seconds in this league. You know, it's not like, okay, if you're playing against a team that sits back, fine, that's great. But if you're playing against a team that's pressing you high constantly, not for 90 minutes, because no team can press for 90 minutes, but for the majority of it, for 70 minutes, for 65 minutes, okay? You need to release the ball quicker. And again, going back to the conversation we had last night, Semps, United played better when they released the ball quicker. And what I'm fed up of seeing, right, because Arsenal do this very well, Cahill, right? Arsenal play in triangles, but there isn't a gap of 5 yards or more between the players. It's 0 to 5 yards gap, right? So you're not seeing 15-yard distance between players, right? They're close together. They're playing the triangles. They're releasing the ball quicker, less than 2 touches, right? But United aren't doing that. Why aren't they doing that? Is it a confidence thing? Is it a tactical thing? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're moving the ball quicker and your players are moving into spaces, it's simple, then you're going to get chances. But they're not doing that. I'm seeing Luke Shaw marauding forward, and instead of wanting to cut the ball back or drill it across the face of the box, he wants to stop and then bring it back again. What are you doing?
Because we lack good decision making in our team. But this is what I think Wenger said it recently. I think it's in his book, something about the players of today lack very good decision making, and we have a lot of players that lack that. And the thing about the Pogba things and all that is, there's been a lot of times where, obviously, me and Stel talking about this as well, where I will fairly criticize him and also fairly praise him in certain moments. And a lot of the passes that he received in previous games, I'm not talking about currently now, but in previous games, were the wrong passes. But I understand why they gave the ball to him, because obviously he's the guy that can, draw past 2 or 3 men and all that kind of stuff. But that's not how football works. Once you pass the ball to him, where's the option? And this is not only a Pogba problem. This is a problem everywhere. Notice how when Bruno Fernandes came to the team first, Pogba and Bruno Fernandes were here. Now they're here. And when they're here, who's here? Because if Pogba's now playing number 6 and Bruno's number 10 and he's going so far forward and Pogba's not going forward, that link up's not there. So who's there to plug the hole?
Kojo,
And
if you're gonna play Pogba in a holding midfield role or a central midfield role, I don't mean like an attacking midfield role, just like a central midfield role. You need someone to do the donkey work. Okay, like a Kante, like a Matic. Okay, if Matic was 5 or 6 years younger,
Matic can't do the donkey work though. Still,
if he was 5 or 6 years younger, he would be able to.
But he's not 5, 6 years younger. He's moving now. So why does he play? Why don't you play Fred? That's got a little bit of engine and tenacious.
Fred does the donkey work badly.
Right,
no, he don't, man.
Because watch Newcastle's first goal. Watch Newcastle's first goal where he was. Right. Watch Newcastle's goal yesterday, where Fred was, where he was chasing the ball. Watch where Fred was in the first half when Luke Shaw was bombing forward and Maguire was filling in at left back, and Fred was playing sweeper. What the hell?
Yeah, but you can look at Harry Maguire for that as equally. This is the thing. Why is Maguire running out there and Fred's having? You can look at that as Fred's had to cover him.
Because he doesn't trust his left back. That's why.
But his left back doesn't trust him, and his right back doesn't trust him.
No one trusts anyone.
Nobody trusts anybody in that defense.
There you go.
Nobody. This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's happening tonight.
It's peak. It's very peak right now.
It's a comedy show. It's a comedy show. It's even Friends wasn't funny. United are funny.
Friends was alright. Friends was alright. Even Bailly, United fans are screaming for Bailly. Look at the disaster class.
He's a headless chicken, man.
Honestly, this is the point.
He hasn't been the same since his first knee injury in his first season. He hasn't been the same player. He's had 2 knee operations. I think he's had 4 knee operations, 2 on each knee, I think.
But this is what I'm saying.
He can't recover from that.
People are not alert to the fact that he's not the same guy he was. And I understand last season he had that wonderful performance against Chelsea. But he's not someone you can rely upon because then he's going to have games like Tottenham. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a whole catalogue. We spent so much on the defense. Don't forget that Shaw was 30 million, Maguire was 80 million, Lindelof was 45 million, I think it was. Wan-Bissaka was 50 million. Even Bailly, how much was Bailly? 30 million as well.
And how much is Rojo and Jones costing United weekly?
There you go.
See what I mean? 200 grand a week.
There you go. So this is the whole point. This is why. I say until we buy good defenders, but in this day and age of football, really and truly, I don't trust any defenders anymore. If I'm just being completely blunt with it, it's all bad. So we just need to we need to buy better quality or find a way to adapt to make them more comfortable. But until then, it's gonna be the same old issues, bro. So you better tie yourself up and get ready for the ride, bro.
Well, we did get the win. We did get the win, but we've got some serious games coming up soon.
What do you make of De Gea's save though? Come on.
De Gea's save was amazing, and I said on Twitter, I was like, we can't forget that De Gea kept us in that game with that great save. That's 2-1 at that point.
Yeah. I was more pleased with the fact that he parried it away from a goal. That was more important to me.
Let's not get on goalkeepers and parrying, boy.
Did anyone else?
Let's get there, boy.
Did anyone else notice Darlow in the last 5 minutes? He was holding his groin, and then United went 2-1 up, and all of a sudden, hang about.
He was fine. He got clattered. He got clattered into it by Rashford. Rashford got put through. Yeah. And it was looking like he was going to come off, but then Steve Bruce was holding on for that last sub.
Yeah, you saw the other goalkeeper warming up. I was like, shit, I'm staying on. I don't want to go off.
All right, man, we'll move on from United,
please,
and see what happens, because me personally, a lot of what we discuss, especially you, Kojo, as being a coach, I think a lot of it is down to coaching, because even what you're saying there about Martial, I've said this a number of times. If you're number 9, if you're not happy with him drifting out to the left, you would analyze that after the game, and then the next game, he's not going to do it. Then if he does it in the next game, you analyze it again and you'll say, you know what? This is your last chance. I don't want to see this, blah, blah, blah. Then if he continues to do this, then for me, that's not a player issue. That's a coaching issue, because your manager is allowing you to do that, or that's the way he wants you to play. From a coaching perspective, you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong, but I've done, my level 1 badge. I'm not as qualified as a lot of, I'm not as qualified as a lot of people, but that's what I would do. I would analyze the game and I'll say, no, I don't want you doing this next game. Da, 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 da. Do you get what I'm saying?
There is a lot of players, and I said this yesterday on Usman's show. I said that I feel like the difference between the players of, let's say, 2010 to now, compared to like 2000 to 2009 is, even if you were the key man, you knew your levels and your manager let you know that if you drop form, you can get dropped or we'll try and buy someone better, especially at the top level when they were top teams.
Yeah.
Whereas now, someone like Martial is comfortable. Well, he was comfortable because Igalo was his backup. Let's be real. He's not getting dropped for Igalo in any situation whatsoever, unless it's a Carling Cup game against Derby. That's literally what it is. So now that he's got someone like Cavani there, and you know Cavani's going to push him. Cavani's not coming to earn wages and go. Cavani is someone that wants to kill and slap goals in. So he needs that challenge. Sometimes it is coaching. You can tell a player to do something, but sometimes if they haven't got that motivation, what's the point? You know what I mean? And with Martial, this is his second season for us as a full striker. But we've had the saga of being pissed about a shirt number. We've had a saga of, playing left wing. And even that left wing sometimes, with the pace you have, sometimes running behind, he was doing the same thing on the left side. Ball into feet. Like, open up your game more. You know what I'm saying? So it's not only a thing problem. What's his name? Ole problem. But if you notice it, make him do more. So this is why I'm having Cavani stick. Cavani's going to come and rattle him. You've got a killer behind you now. I don't care how old he is. He's got a killer, certified killer.
1 minute, I thought, what's his name? Martial was black gloves, stone cold killer. Yeah. Well, you get OJ Simpson. He'll do a better job.
Oh goodness.
I personally don't understand the criticisms and the rap that Martial gets from some fans. I really don't, because he played.
You can blame social media for that, Semps.
He played one season, a full season as our striker, and he scored 17 no penalties in the league and had 2 months out. Like, I think that's a decent return for a striker in the Premier League at this level, in a team that, let's be real, we've all talked about the issues that Manchester United have. He's not playing in a Liverpool team. He's playing in this team that for most of the season had Andreas Pereira and Lingard behind him. Pogba was out for the majority of the season. But yet we still get onto this guy, and it's like, what can he do? What can he do? Because if he has a good season, we still slay him. And then the next season, he starts off badly and we slay him. It's like, what can this guy do? It's like you
more goals, man. I think it's simply down to that. I mean, Tottenham have Kane, Arsenal have Aubameyang, Liverpool. Well, I'm going to say Firmino, but no, let's not go there. City have Aguero.
Yeah, but Firmino don't get the same issues though.
No, but then he has Salah and Mane that get 20 plus next to him. So that's that. But then again, look at Martial. Yes, he got 17 goals, no penalties last season. That's great. It's probably his best season that he's had in the United shirt. But there are plenty of opportunities that he always gets, which he misses, and you're always scratching your head thinking, how on earth have you missed that? A player of his quality, he is. He's quality. I think he is. He just misses far too many opportunities.
No, he doesn't, Cahill. He doesn't. He doesn't. And we're not going to have time to get up the stats now. But he's not a striker that misses loads of chances. He's not a striker that misses loads of chances. He's not.
Listen,
he misses loads.
When you've got the propaganda machine that's Twitter, and you've got thousands upon thousands of people saying Martial FC, Martial's the next Henry, Martial's this, Martial's that, a lot of people believe the hype, and a lot of people say, well, okay, if he's that good, then he should be delivering more. Okay, and this is how it works, right? This is how people are brainwashed into thinking certain things. The stats don't lie. He's a fantastic footballer. But for me personally, he's not consistent enough. And I know you're going to say, well, he scored 17 goals last season, which is fair enough. But for me, he doesn't do it enough in front of goal. He doesn't do it in front of enough. But the thing is, for me, again, back to me, I grew up, showing my age now, I grew up watching the likes of Klinsmann, R9, Batistuta. These guys were killers in front of goal.
Still, right? we can't talk about the past. We can't
talk about the past. Why can't we talk about the past?
Of course we can.
We're in 2020. We're in 2020 now.
Okay, so let's talk about players of today. If we're not going to talk about players of today, okay, if we're not going to talk about the past, then let's just say that Man United are a small team then. Because if it wasn't for the past, United wouldn't have the success. They wouldn't have the name. They wouldn't be able to bring in all these players. They wouldn't have the financial clout.
I'm
let's
saying
let's
there's quality players of today. You can name Harry Kane. Why do we then have to talk about Klinsmann and them man there?
No, but
Because
like I said,
was giving you an
Harry Kane's a
example.
killer.
I was giving you an example.
Aubameyang killer sometimes. Well, I can't say he's got
killer
fake
sometimes. Aubameyang ain't doing nothing at the moment.
He's much more consistent than Martial. I agree. Martial's not consistent. I disagree. You can give me all the stats you want, but there are plenty of times and plenty of games where I've seen Martial go 1-on-1 and he just misses, and I don't understand why.
You can
say Klinsmann, you can say Van Nistelrooy,
many times. You don't see that
many times, man. It's many times. It's a lot of times.
We hardly ever bloody get 1-on-1 chances about many times.
Well, that's why I want Martial to start running in, flipping behind. This is what I'm asking for, because when you do that, literally when he's done it, he scored goals. This is the point. Like, I'm not trying to get onto him too tough because I was actually happy with him last season. But when you don't focus so much on getting ball to feet because you are a good dribbler, I get that. But you have got the pace and the movement to get past defenders, especially now in this age of defending where marking is non-existent, where they don't know how to track runners because everything's recovery. Get past your man, use your speed and kill. Literally, that's what I'm asking for. Even Werner yesterday, I know we might talk about Chelsea, but even Werner yesterday, he was about to get ball into feet. A little bit of skill and use his pace to slap past his defender. And then he went and done the rest and he scored. I want him to be a lot more of a killer in that instant. Like, I know he can finish, but bro, get him behind a bit more because people are telling you poachers are dead, but literally poachers are still slapping in goals like Lewa, like Kane. It's just that they can do more than just poach, but ideally they are absolute killers in the box, and that's what I want him to be a lot more of. But I feel he has that in him, but until you do it more and more often, big man, I can't back you like I want to back you. And I want to back him. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout for him. But right now I'm shouting Edison Cavani because I know he's older, but he's my boy because he's done it. So
it's going to be so interesting to see what happens with Cavani now, boy. So interested to see because.
Well, I'll say this for now, right? When you got an experienced striker like that scored in every league he's played in, that's played in World Cups, Copa Americas, right? An elite striker. If the youngsters in that squad, the younger players don't learn from him, they've got no chance. Because I remember when we brought in Henrik Larsson, I'm going back to the past there, Semps, right? Mm-hmm. We brought in Henrik Larsson on loan, right? How much do you think Rooney and Ronaldo learnt from him? When we brought in Laurent Blanc, how much do you think Ferdinand and Wes Brown and the Nevilles learnt from him? You know, that's why that's one of the reasons why you bring in an experienced striker, because it's what he brings off the field as well as on it. So
you can look at recent history, though. You can look at recent history. You brought in Ibrahimovic, who, like Henrik Larsson or Cavani, has done it everywhere. He's won leagues everywhere. He's scored plenty of goals everywhere. But Martial, Rashford, and XYZ, they didn't learn that much from him.
I don't know. I think they've improved.
Did Ibrahimovic have a good season that first season when he came to United?
Yeah, he did. He scored 20-something and he was injured by February.
Something as well.
Oh, crap.
2 trophies.
Yeah. Martial's stats are basically identical to Ibrahimovic's first season. And Martial got 12 assists as well.
Yeah, but Martial's in the prime of his career. Ibrahimovic was like 34.
No, but Ibrahimovic is still. This is what we're talking about, the quality, though, isn't it? That's what we're saying. We're saying that he had a good season because of his age. Is that what it was?
I'm not saying he had a good season because of his age. I'm saying that if Martial, you can't compare. It's like what did Carlos Vela in America was top goal scorer. Well, Ibrahimovic was close to him, and Ibrahimovic was like 34. Carlos Vela was like 29. We just said that Ibrahimovic had a good season with what he produced. So if another player produces the same and has the same impact, then surely that would have the same impact. Though.
He didn't have the same impact last season.
No, he didn't. No trophies.
The thing is, I think when you look at both players, they're completely different. They're completely different players. But what Ibrahimovic can do in the box, Martial can't. Right, but what Martial can do outside the box, Ibrahimovic can't.
And Ibrahimovic missed a shed load of chances that season.
100%.
But hey, United were creating chances under Jose, weren't they?
Who didn't say that?
Well, I'm just saying.
Nobody didn't say that.
I'm just saying.
By the way, so you expect Cavani to come in and score goals? Then I take it
100%. With the standard of defending here,
give him chances.
With the standard defending in the Premier League.
Just give him chances, man. Just give him chances and he'll kill. Just give him chances.
Well, we can't say give him chances. That's not what we're talking about here. We're saying that he's got to score goals. That's what he needs to do.
But yeah, I mean, if you're a striker, you have to be fed. You have to be fed. Yeah. So.
Oh, you need to be fed. Only if you're Cavani, then, not if you're Martial.
Martial is not being completely fed, but even when he's fed, sometimes
we're using isolated incidences.
No, bro.
Every striker misses chances, though. We got to all acknowledge that Aubameyang missed in the Europa last season from inside 6 yards that you wouldn't.
Why bringing up memories like that for,
which
man?
you wouldn't expect a top striker to miss those.
I didn't bring up Seville. Why you bring it up? I'm
just saying, strikers miss chances.
Semps, this is what I'm saying though. Like, creating chances comes also of part of what you do as a striker also. So if you're always getting the ball into feet instead of making runs in behind, your chances are harder for you. Sometimes just get past him and then do the rest. You know what I'm saying? I
hear the running in behind one. I definitely hear that argument that Martial needs to do that more. But we've spent too long on Martial. I didn't know that I had 3 mans that all didn't like Martial ones. So I had to.
I like him.
I love him.
But let me know.
I like him. I just think he should score more. I think he should score more.
Oh. Anyway, Chelsea have Werner. Chelsea can score goals, but they seem to have a problem keeping goals away as well. So what do you make of Chelsea this season, Kojo, and Werner's start?
Chelsea are going to keep being inconsistent. Very, very simple. And part of it is, again, shocking defending. Part of it is midfield not being great defensively. I'll elaborate that a little bit. And also part number 3 is Lampard. Because I don't feel like he's still got his perfect system worked out yet. And because of the players they brought going forward, I don't know how he's going to try and fit in all his players. We can talk about how we think we did fit in Pulisic and all those guys, but is that the same idea he has? I don't know. But defensively, again, I mean, you know what? I literally bitch and moan about every team defensively, but if you are a supposed top six side, I need you to at least set the standard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they do not set the standard. And I was told Kurt Zuma is decent. Jesus Christ. I know him and Kepa right now look like absolute fools because they were just as culpable as each other for the goal that Adams scored.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. No, I know why you're doing that because Kepa completely missed the ball. I understand.
No, I think Zuma is completely at fault for that goal. Kepa major mistake, but he's got that in him.
Zuma shouldn't have. I mean, that attempt at whatever he was trying to do. This thing, I don't know what you're trying to do. This is the whole point. But you know, that attempt of defending was just scary to watch. And again, Kepa's. I mean, his confidence is really shaken anyway. He was having bad performance, then he was dropped. Even before Mendy came, Caballero started before him, and then Mendy came in anyway.
His confidence is completely down to Frank Lampard as
well. So he's done. Game over for him, finished. Chilwell has never been great defensively. I understand he's an upgrade on Alonso, but then again, really defensively, upgrade on Alonso, I mean, that's not very hard to do. And on the right side, Reece James is another right back who is good going forward, but defensively he's very shaky. And this is the problem with the era of recovery defending. When you ask your defender...
He didn't start that game, you know. It was Aspilicueta.
No, I know. It was Aspilicueta as well. But I was going to get him. He's getting older as well. So naturally, he's slowing down.
Yeah.
But this is the problem with me and this era of recovery defending. This is why I hate it so much. Because you have so-called top defenders not knowing when to close down and how to close down. So much so that someone, I don't want to single him out, I know he has nothing to do with this game, but someone like Joe Gomez, who backs off so much that he tends to be near Adriano Alisson more than the opponent coming towards him. That's the kind of thing we see in Premier League football these days, and football pretty much around the world. Well, we'll get there one day, don't worry.
But do you know what, Kojo? Do you think that's possibly because the game has changed now when we talk about, you know, going forward, how the fullbacks are so high? Do you think that could be a reason that those defenders haven't got the protection from their fullbacks?
The game has changed very small in the sense that fullbacks have always been going forward, but defenders knew the first rule of defending was knowing how to defend. That's the facts. We've got a lot of midfielders that can now play centre back or wingers that can now play right back, but they don't know how to defend. This is the problem that it is for me. I'm not trying to say, oh, go back to the days and trying to be like a Maldini. You can't be a Maldini. That's one of a kind. You can't be a Nesta. That's one of a kind. I'm not asking you to be all these colossal defenders because they were in a whole nother level. But your first job as a defender, right back, left back, centre back, even wing back, your first job that you must know is how to defend. And all these guys that we love at the back right now, above maybe 3 or 4, they don't know how to do that. And that's why Chelsea...
Wan-Bissaka is a good defender and he gets slated for being able to defend.
Wan-Bissaka is a good defender. I don't disagree with that. But again, a lot of his game is being able to, the fact that he's able to chase back and make that slide tackle to concede a throw or something.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that defending, even though I know he's good at it and he applies it well. I'm not a fan of it. I was more excited when we played City last year and he was handing Sterling one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's what I prefer because you shouldn't have to recover to then try and start an attack again. If you can win the ball one-on-one and go, that's much more important to me. You know what I mean? So that's why I see this defending now. But this is why the defenders of today are not going to improve. Someone like Christensen, who had potential, he's not going to get to the level that I think Chelsea needs. Zuma's not going to get to the level I think Chelsea needs. Thiago Silva's come at 36 years old, so he's there for a year. What, a year? 2 years?
Yeah.
Twilight of his career is getting older, is getting slower. He's not going to be the same guy. This is my point, you know? So that's why Chelsea and all these teams in the Premier League concede goals like this, because the art of defending, and it is an absolute art, is lost on players right now. And it's all because they tried to copy models from managers that had the talent to do what they had to do. Someone like Barcelona and everyone, when they started trying to do tiki-taka because Pep was doing it, but they forget Abidal was left back, someone that could defend. Dani Alves, complete right back.
Whoa.
What?
Abidal?
He was a good left back, man. He was a good left back.
His nickname was Collab. Stop it, bro.
Stop it. I gave him that nickname. Stop it. But I gave him that nickname. All right, cool. But regardless, you still had Busquets that knew how to hold that position perfectly. And you had bloody Piqué and Puyol. So you don't have that caliber of talent now to do with those players that you want to do it now because those guys were a different breed. Do you see what I'm saying? This is the point I'm trying to make. And this is why I've always been arguing about defending. That's why for the past 5 years we did 3-midfield. You can find, we've done 140 episodes, 135 of them, I'm screaming about defending.
140, bro. Stop it.
All 140, to be honest, not even lying. Like, that's the whole point. Even on Stel, shooting defense, I've been on what, 30 times? Let's just say 30 times. I've complained 30 times about defending.
Count.
Literally. You know what I mean? So this is the whole point. So yeah, Chelsea's result didn't surprise me because, I mean, from when Ings scored this goal and I realized that Zuma was here and whoever the other one back was next to him and Engels was sitting in the middle, you lose possession and your first instinct isn't, let me close the space so he can't get the ball. They literally just ran side by side, bounced him, and he just went past around the keeper and scored. When I saw that, I said, you know what? This could be anything. Yeah. Genuinely, anything. No, this turned into a rant. Someone take over. Sorry.
That's all right. It's all right, man. That's what we want to. You can rant and do what you need to do on here, man. Cahill, what with the defending that we're seeing at Chelsea, a lot of people thought that they could possibly win the league this year or at least mount a strong title challenge. Do you see them being able to do that? And do you see Frank being able to get the team to the level to do that?
I think they can mount a title challenge, but that's because everybody defensively has been shot. Yeah. It's all about. I think this is the season where it's going to be all about how many goals you can score to get as many points. It's going to be the league's going to be the 5 threes. If you're going to score, but I'm going to score more. That's how people are going to get results. I don't think Frank Lampard's that great of a manager. Yes, he got Chelsea to the top 4 last season, but last season that was an anomaly. I don't know. Well, we do know what happened. Leicester capitulated. A whole bunch of teams capitulated that should have mounted the challenge for top 4. Tottenham and Arsenal were non-existent as well. I don't think Lampard's that good of a manager. But yeah, to add on to Coach's point, I think to sum up the entire generation of defending, I think Kyle Walker's a perfect example of summing up defenders of this generation. It's having the speed to catch up to the player that's gone past you. Because Kyle Walker's a horrible defender. But every time like, especially against when Arsenal were playing, when Aubameyang was going neck and neck with him, I was like, stop it. He's just going to catch you up. It's not that he's good defensively. It's that he has an ability to run side by side with you, which previously only the Ashley Coles, the Roberto Carlos's had that pace to possess that pace to catch up with you. Others had to rely on their defensive ability. But I just don't. I think Chelsea can mount a title challenge, but I don't think they're going to win it.
Okay. Stel, what would your thoughts be on Frank Lampard being able to get the best out of the crop of talent that he now has in Werner, Havertz, Ziyech? Do you think that he's going to be able to get them all to play, Pulisic involved in there, you know, Kante, Jorginho, Mount? Do you think he's going to be able to get them all to gel?
There's going to be a lot of work involved, a lot of work on the training ground, a lot of, blimey, tactical play, a lot of ball possession. Don't forget, Semps, 2 of Southampton's goals, they didn't come from counter-attacks. They came from a high press. They're the 4-man press. So they're going man for man on the press. And when you do that, especially when you've got defenders that are uneasy or unsure, not confident enough on the ball, it's a recipe for disaster. And Kai Havertz, as good as he is, he's still learning about this league. And it's a learning process. It's an education for him. And, you know, you can't, as I said before about United, you can't dwell on the ball. You can't hold it on for too long because there's going to be 1 or 2 players digging at your heels, closing you down. And when you're facing your goal, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. So you're putting the rest of your team in jeopardy. Now, to answer your question about Lampard, look, last season, I think he did a fantastic job getting him into the Champions League, given the financial restraints, given the transfer ban. But the time for excuses is over now. You know, there's only so much you can say, oh, he's a club legend. You got to give him time. Normally, when you see a manager taking over a club, you see the transition and you see, I wouldn't say immediate impact, but like with Jurgen Klopp, for example, you could see the change. You could see the pattern of play developing. You could see players working harder, running faster, or running further, should I say, in terms of kilometers. I'm not seeing a massive change in Chelsea. And granted, people could say, well, they've got in new players and it's going to take time for them to gel. But if you're a good manager, then you're going to see a little bit of a difference. I'm seeing Chelsea fans now saying, well, what's the difference? We haven't seen anything new. We know what the lineup's going to be. We know it's predictable. The patterns of play is predictable. I don't know. I think Jody Morris has got a lot to do. Lampard's got a lot to do.
Do you think that Roman will give him that time to get it right?
Well, it's a difficult one, Semps, because if he gets rid of him, then immediately people are going to say, well, they didn't give him a chance. And Lampard did well to get him into the Champions League, so he deserves a free pass for this season. On the flip side, well, how much rope are you going to give him? Because if you're blowing 3-goal leads, you know, it's a concern. It's got to be a concern. And, you know, going back to the Spurs game, you know, they were 3-0 up. And it's just it's the attention to detail. It's the lapses in concentration. It's the lack of, again, cohesion, the confidence. He's got to find a way to get that back into him, because if he doesn't, they're going to be in big trouble. But players are confidence players. So,
well, we're going to have to say goodbye to Kojo. You got to shoot off, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I'm getting abused from my boss. I need to go.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping on.
Who is she? Say hello to her.
No.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, yeah,
love,
man. We'd love to get you on again, man, and we'll chop it up some more.
Shout me anytime, bro.
All right, then, man. Have a good one, yeah?
Yeah, see you.
Anita Malaga.
Yes.
No choftes.
No choftes, my friend. No,
wicked. So, just us 3 now. Get through the last games, and yeah, I think what you were saying, Stel, is correct. It's a bit of a catch-22. They've spent a lot of money. I personally think that, knowing the way that Roman is, he's gonna want results this season. I don't think he's looking at, you can build this season and then we're gonna go next season. That's what I personally believe. So I think that I'm not sure what Lampard has to deliver to keep his job, but I think he needs to have a strong run in the Champions League, and a good finish to the league. Mount a title challenge is what I believe, man.
Well,
Otherwise,
he's got the nucleus there, hasn't he? He's got a youth academy that's thriving. He's got a hell of a lot of players in his squad that really should be doing better.
yeah.
But it just goes back to what I said about the whole cohesion. You know, unless you've got that team spirit, you know, I hate to bring this up because it's such a cliche, but Greece in 2004, they were dog turd. They were the second least favourites. I think only Latvia were outsiders, the biggest outsiders. But they weren't a great team, but they worked together and they worked to their strengths. Now, I'm not saying that Chelsea are anything like Greece, but with that crop of talent, with the ability that they have, look, they've got quality players. They've got Jorginho, they've got Kante, they've got Kovacic. That's a Rolls Royce of a midfielder.
Yeah.
Got Werner, who's finally getting on the score sheet. But that back line, mate, you can't. When you got a back line like that and a goalkeeper that's so shaky, the rest of the players are thinking, shit, we need to work double as hard now because you know we can't rely on them. But can you see the likes of Pulisic tracking back and helping out his fullback? Can you see the likes of, I don't know, Hudson-Odoi doing the same when he gets his opportunities? I can't see it. So it's got to work both ways. Sorry, I've been going on too long about it.
Somebody once told me, they said that goals win games, defenses win championships. And I think it's a good point that person made, because to win a championship, you have to be good at the back. You have to be able to keep clean sheets. And I think that's something that Spurs are going to need to address if they're going to really push for a title, and the same with Chelsea.
Well, bro, that's why Liverpool didn't win the league under Brendan Rodgers, because they conceded 51 goals. It wasn't because Steven Gerrard slipped.
Yeah.
Because they conceded, like you can see 3 goals away at Crystal Palace when you're 3-0 up.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. That's it. Okay, cool. Leave us your comments, people. Let us know what your thoughts are on Chelsea and where they can go this season, Frank Lampard, etc. Let's move on to Cahill's team, Arsenal, who got beat 1-0 by Manchester City. Which, you know, I thought Manchester City were there for the taking. But then I saw Aguero's name on the team sheet and I started to think, maybe. What did you make of your team's performance? Because I thought you started off really well, actually, Cahill.
Kind of. I would say, I think that what's been happening over, especially since the start of the season, was that we've been so focused defensively that offensively we've been caught lacking sometimes. Yes, we beat Fulham 3-0 on the opening day, but then we just managed to nick 3 points against West Ham, and then Liverpool came and they were there for the taking. Obviously, as you saw, when Aston Villa beat them 7-2. And City were there for the take because they haven't been that great defensively or offensively. Yes, Aguero was back, but he's been injured for so long now, and he hasn't been at his best for Pep for maybe like a year or so. So I wasn't worried about Aguero. I just think that we're not creating enough chances, man. We're not, and it might come is down to how we're set up. Yes, I think Stel said before that we play nice triangles, but every time we play out from the back, because it's so predictable, everybody's opposite, all the opposition players are on the edge of our box just waiting for one mistake, and it's so close to the box that if that one mistake gets made, it's an easy chance. Offensively, like I said, I think we're not good enough. We haven't got a creative midfielder to really like a top quality creative midfielder that really can break down the lines. Ceballos is decent. I wouldn't say he's great. It was nice that we're playing Aubameyang up top, which is something I've been calling for a long time. But he
didn't start up. He started on the left, didn't he? And it looked like
Willian was the number 9, wasn't he?
It looked like he was playing false 9. So it's a weird situation going on at Arsenal, but. Like I said before, podcast, that we're living in the end times where Arsenal are the most consistent defensively out of the top 6. But I felt like City were there for the taking, and we just didn't create enough chances. We had the one chance with Saka where I think he should have scored. Yeah. But apart from that, it's dire to watch. I think Arsenal are going back to the days of George Graham. What was boring Arsenal. We just nicked 1-0 victories, but. We're not scoring enough goals and not creating enough chances. And yes, there's a name that might draw some criticism from me, but we've got someone in Mesut Ozil who's known for creating chances, sitting at home on fringe 50k. He's not going anywhere. Throw him in there. He's easily our best creative midfield in the side, but we're playing Willian, who hasn't had a good season for 3 years maybe. So I don't know why we're letting talent like that just sit by the wayside. We're just wasting him. And Thomas Partey, I don't know why he didn't start. If you pay 50 million for someone, I understand it's a baptism of fire of sorts, but if you pay 50 million, start him for goodness sake. He's there. You pay that money for a reason. And
has he even had any training sessions?
With Arsenal, I'm not sure, but
if he hasn't had a training session, why are you going to throw him in the team? You're risking a potential injury here, a muscular injury which could put him out for weeks. Why would you do that?
I mean, he played internationally, so he's been playing games. I think he's fit and ready for the season.
Well, you're comparing an international friendly with the Premier League game. Come on, man. You know better than that, Cahill. Come on.
I don't know. I feel yes, he hasn't had training. I concede that point. But, try it. Just try. It's from me not liking our midfield options. I don't like Xhaka that much. I don't like El Nene. Like, there's a whole bunch of players that are starting this season that I just don't know why that are starting. So it's more me wanting to see him play because he's a much better option than what we have.
I hear you.
Do you think you're playing better this season than you did last season?
No. I think we saw much more attacking football under Emery than we have under Mikel Arteta this season. But that's not me complaining. I think defensively he's done a solid job. We're compact. We're not likely to be blown out. But it's that we're missing something going forward, and I don't know what it is, because we were playing some pretty nice football at the start of when he first came through. But I think he's focused so much on the defense, and he's focusing so much on catching teams on the counter, like the Cities, like the Liverpools. But if it's fine when teams like that play high lines, but when you cut up against a team like Sheffield, a team like West Ham, they're not going to.
Both of them.
Huh?
But you beat both of them.
Yes, but they played. The football we were playing wasn't good enough. I mean, you can say that
but you won.
You beat Newcastle though.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is you won. Okay, you beat those teams, and historically, you guys have struggled to beat these teams, right? But then when you play your Liverpools and your Man Cities, you were unlucky against Liverpool. If Lacazette had his shooting boots on, you'd have got something out of that game. And okay, granted, against Man City, I personally believe you showed them too much respect. That's what I personally believe. And you're right, they were there for the taking. Defensively, they're shocking, Man City. But at the same time, when it comes to Arsenal defensively and you saying that they're too compact and he's too focused on defense, I understand that. I completely agree with you. But when you look at the past couple of seasons, when you had the likes of Lichtsteiner and Sokratis, and who else did you have? You had what's that German defender that was at Everton? Mustafi, that you spent £35 million. They were making mistakes left, right, and centre. So of course he's got to shore up the defense first before focusing on getting the ball forward, because we know how dangerous you guys can be in attack. Aubameyang can score you 25, 30 goals a season, right? You know, I think Willian will come good for you guys, but he's getting used to a new system. I think, Pepe is a half decent player. I'm not saying he's worth the £72 million, but against teams that are playing, as you said, high lines, the pace that he's got, pop the ball in behind the central defender and the left back or the right back, or whichever side he's playing, he'll beat them for pace, 100%. So I think you've got the ingredients there. You've got a manager there, or should I say a head coach that's got a vision. And don't forget, his backroom stuff is fantastic. They're absolutely fantastic. Steve Round, okay, he wasn't great at United, but he's helping in the background. You've got the Dutch fella that was at United under Van Gaal, who's doing a good job there. And I think you've got a head coach that is very meticulous, and his attention to detail is top notch. But he still needs more time. He still needs more resources to push you to the next level. And let's be honest, bruv, you won the FA Cup in his first season. He wasn't even there a full season, was he?
Don't get me wrong. This isn't criticism of Mikel Arteta. It's I've seen what we can do under him. like it's the respect thing. I don't want us showing teams respect. I want us to have killer instinct, and we have players that have killer instinct. Aubameyang has killer instinct, for instance. Well, there you go. I think Ozil, to a degree, has killer instinct. There are players that we have that have killer instinct, and we should use it. But I just feel like we respect too many teams that we shouldn't do, and that it irks me. It's not a criticism. It just irks me. I want to see us playing better football.
You guys
No,
are
see, you grew up with the unbeatables. You grew up with winning
that.
FA Cups, winning leagues, and you think that, or should I say, you believe that your club should be playing that aesthetically pleasing on the eye of football. And I get it, because as United fans, we've been spoilt with success, and we expect our team to be up there. But the fact is, you guys have regressed so much over the years due to poor management, due to poor, signings, due to a lot of things. You know, you got an owner who clearly doesn't give two hoots about what you win. It's top four or nothing, right? So again, you're in a little bit of limbo. But right now, you've got a manager. But let's not forget, he stepped in after the guy that got you to Europa League final, and he was the guy that took over Arsene Wenger. So the stopgap was Unai Emery. Now you've got Arteta. He's your long-term guy. You're going to get teething problems. You're going to get issues. But Semps might disagree with me on this. But I think in terms of a managerial structure, in terms of a coaching structure, you guys are light years ahead of United. Light years.
Why would I disagree with that?
I'm just saying you might. I'm not saying you will. I'm just saying you might.
Bro. No, I don't disagree.
I'm just saying. Might, possibly. I'm throwing you in the equation because you're quiet.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But then again, it's not that I demand excellence. I demand a certain style of football. I just want us to be a bit more exciting.
Yeah.
It's the fact that I think West Brom have created more. Are the only team in the Premier League that have created more chances than I think that's a stat that was going around. I've not checked it. But if that's what's going around, I might say it. I just think that we have the ability to create more chances, and we should create more chances, especially against the teams like Sheffield, the teams like West Ham, etc. I just want us to be a bit more exciting against those teams and be more compact against the big ones.
But I think you were brilliant against Sheffield United. I watched that game in detail, and the passing, the patterns of play were brilliant.
What did that finish 2-1?
I don't. 2-1, yeah. They cut them apart. They were unlucky to get just two. To be fair,
that was first half. We were horrendous, though. I don't agree with that. I think the first half we were bad. It was. But
you stepped up in the second, right?
Boring. Say that again.
But you stepped up in the second half, right?
Yeah, but that's a pattern that seems to be evolving. It's like this first half under Mikel Arteta, it's poor.
But sorry to cut you off, but do you think it's because he demands a lot from his players and possibly their stamina levels aren't what they should be to play his system? So he's probably telling them play in second gear for the first 25 minutes, half an hour of the game, and then step up in the second half.
It could be that, but then again, you're risking not scoring at all. Yes, they have the ability to step it up when teams are tired, but then again, when all teams get into that run where it gets to like December to February, where they're all fit, all ready, it all depends on when teams switch off or not, and we can't keep relying on teams switching off.
I don't know. Yes, I think he's very clever, because what he's doing in the opening 25 minutes, half hour of the game, he's letting the opponents press his team. That's why you see a lot of Arsenal building from the back with Luiz and Gabriel and Tierney, and then they hit them on the counter. Because as I said before, the top of the show, teams can't press for 90 minutes. They can press for 70, 75. But what he's probably thinking is, well, we will retain possession. We will keep possession. You press us as much as you want, but we've got those outlets. We've got Bellerin with a pace that can bomb forward. We've got Tierney that can bomb forward. We've got Aubameyang. We've got Pepper. We've got Willian. And that's where you kill teams, because all it takes is for Luis to pump it long. That's all it'll take. Why do you think City have been so successful? Because they've been doing exactly the same thing. They keep the ball across the back four. They play it back to Ederson. He lobs it forward, and Aguero's onto it like a flash.
I wouldn't say that that's the City way, to be honest. Like City press from the front as well, don't they? So they,
of course, but when they're in possession, defensively,
yeah, defensively they play it around, and then they will play through midfield. They'll play through midfield more than a long ball up. I see where Cahill is with this, in the sense that Arsenal do have good enough players to create more chances. So you know what I mean. It's But as Stel was saying, you are winning games.
It's yeah. It seems like I'm being
No, but
I'm demanding more. It's not that I'm expecting Arsenal to absolutely dominate teams from minute 1 to minute 90. I'm not expecting that. I just want to see some. I just want us to kill the teams that need to be killed. West Ham haven't been good. United haven't been good, and we were lucky against them. I just don't want us to be lucky against them. I want us to absolutely dominate, and that might be the plan from
need to
10 years
improve on
ago.
is
Yeah, all right, cool.
your away form against the big six, because that's 0 wins in 28 games now. So do you think that plays on Arteta's mind when he goes into that game as to maybe why he's a little bit more defensive rather than, because as I said, I thought Man City were there for the taking, and he definitely showed them too much respect, in my opinion.
I don't think it plays on Arteta's mind as much. I think it plays on the players' mind. I think we got a lot of players from previous managers and previous generations where they just don't have any faith in their ability to go and to dominate and to actually like stand a chance against some of these players. I think the last game against the Big Six that we won away was when Mikel Arteta was playing for Arsenal, and that was a long time ago. So it's a mentality thing. I think we just need to take our chances when we get them, because we're not expected to get a lot of chances against the Big Six teams. You just need to take them. And once we take the chances, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a victory. It doesn't worry me as much as saying losing against the smaller teams away.
Sheffield United or whatever away.
Exactly. But would I like to see Arsenal win an away game against a Big Six team? Of course I would. Of course I would. And anybody. Those are the games that means that you're potential title challengers if you win against the teams that are around you.
Yeah.
And for the past, when it was Mikel Arteta last playing, 2012, 8 years, it's not been the case.
What about City, Stel? Where do you see City going this year? Obviously, Pep spent more money on the defense. They've lost Silva. Do you think that Bernardo Silva can bridge the gap, or Phil Foden? Where do you see City going this season?
Isn't it funny how when they won the league a couple of years ago, people were saying, "Oh, this is the greatest Premier League team ever."
Yeah,
they were the Centurions, and they did it back to back, and this and that. Well, what's happened to them now?
Yeah,
because as far as I'm concerned, defensively they're a shambles, and for them to spend, how much have they spent on fullbacks? How much?
You know what? I'll tell you how much actually.
Carl Walker was 50 M's, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mendy was what, 30 odd? I guess.
Let's see.
I'm
pretty sure.
Ake, who played left back, was what, 35, 36?
I've only got the defenders, 423 mil under Pep. They've spent on defenders. Not sure.
Yeah, and what about goalkeepers as well? Yeah.
Goalkeepers 63 mil.
Right.
Midfielders 285 mil. Forwards 49 mil. So in total, Pep has spent 820 million pounds.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. Out of that 820 million pound, which of those signings have been any good? How many?
Well, none of the defenders.
Carl Walker, you could say, has been good.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you're right there. 50. It was 50 mil for Carl Walker, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sane, who was sold.
Was
good. And probably what, Bernardo Silva?
But Bernardo Silva's been KDB different recently as well.
But for the 20 million they spent on him, which I think is how much they spent, he's been value for money. The rest of them, what's happened to the rest of them? Because
Mahrez came under Pep as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. But
he doesn't really play him though, does he?
In and out.
Would you say he's been as good as Sane was?
He didn't. Yeah, the Sane thing is weird, man. I don't know what happened there.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. Sane was going to have a knee operation. He wanted to have it in Germany because Bayern Munich's surgeon is the same surgeon as the German national team. And Guardiola said, "No, I want you to go to my friend in Barcelona, where all of his PED friends go to." And Sane was like, "No, I want to go to the German guy," because obviously he wanted his move to Bayern Munich. So they fell out in a big way.
Wow.
So, look, I forgot your question now.
No, I was just saying, where do you think City are going to go this season?
It's a difficult one because they've got a similar problem to Chelsea, to United. Defensively, they aren't great. And again, as we were just discussing, they spent £500 million on defenders. When's he going to get it right? How is he going to get it right? It's a very difficult one to say. And I know it's a cop-out for me to say, well, at Barcelona, he had all the best players there. He had it all there for him.
It's not a cop-out, in my opinion.
Bayern Munich, he had the same situation. He had the quality players there. You know, did they really need that extensive coaching? Well, I mean, what was a great thing he did at Bayern Munich? Made Philipp Lahm a central midfielder? Whoa. Anyway, look, I think they're in trouble. And I don't mean like results-wise. I think in the background, I don't think Guardiola is motivated enough anymore. Yeah, you saw his interview after the Leeds game, you know, standing in the rain. Okay, fair enough, no one's going to be happy being interviewed while it's pissing down. But you could tell he was just like going through the motions. And I don't know whether he just doesn't have a spring in his step anymore. I don't know if he's thinking about going elsewhere. Maybe he needs another sabbatical because he does that quite a bit. Exactly. And don't forget, it's an aging squad. You know, it really is. You know, Silva's gone. Right, Company's gone. Aguero is the wrong side of 30.
Yeah,
it's tough. Kyle Walker's in his 30s now, isn't he? If I'm not mistaken.
I would have thought so.
So I don't know. It'll be a difficult one. But City aren't playing this marauding football, this expansive football that we've been used to seeing. Yeah, the give and goes are still there. The tiki taka, as they like to call it, another phrase I can't stand. But it's not as effective as what it used to be. And I think Guardiola is perhaps in a similar situation to Arteta in the sense that he's got to tidy up or tighten things up defensively before he can focus on playing that beautiful football that he used to, because they're shipping goals left, right and centre. Leicester was the perfect example, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll move on. And again, please, people, leave us your comments, subscribe if you haven't done so already, give us a like. And just segueing on to, this seems to be the podcast about defending. It is about defending, and we're going to go over to the Merseyside derby because we saw what happened to, you know, Liverpool's top defender in Virgil van Dijk. What did you make of that challenge by Pickford, Cahill on Virgil van Dijk?
Horrendous. Absolutely, just how VR didn't tell the referee you need to go to the monitor, you need to take a look at this, you need to send them off. Makes no sense. It was just a horrible tackle.
Yeah.
Dangerous, nonsensical. But then again, Pickford's rash like that. We all know that as a goalkeeper, he's rash in his decision making. And then again, that just no. There was just a bad tackle, man. He should have been sent off.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. When I saw the challenge, I was just like, wow, this guy is a nutcase. And then me and Stel was talking about it. And then he was like, do you remember when he clattered into Dele Alli? I didn't remember that. Then he showed me that one as well. And he did one on Dele Alli as well.
He has history then?
Yeah, he's got history. And for me personally, I think he's an awful keeper anyway. And then to have that in his game and how the referees missed it, or not even the referees, that shouldn't be missed, but VAR, that's what VAR is there for. And I thought it was disgusting. I'm a football fan first. I don't like Liverpool due to the rivalry and that, but I definitely don't want to see that. Stel, your thoughts on that challenge? And also add in, you know, we're talking about defenses and you need a defense to win titles and stuff. What are Liverpool going to be able to do now without Virgil van Dijk?
Well, the challenge from Pickford was assault. It was assault. I mean, let's be 100% honest. The ball's gone for a start, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So he's thrown himself out. And you know what? You hear this whole, he let him know that he's there. He's a goalkeeper.
Who said that?
Yeah. Well, you're going to get the old cliche every now and again, aren't you? You know? There was no need for that tackle. No need to make that challenge. And people are saying, oh, VAR, this and that. Well, this is the best analogy I can give you. My mum has got a friend 4 or 5 houses down the road. She's a Cypriot woman. She's been in England for the past 60 years. She don't speak a word of English. If I gave her an iPad, she wouldn't have a clue what to do with it. She thinks it's a new age sewing machine, right? That's the same sort of thing with people using VAR. They don't know how to use the technology, and on top of that, they don't know how to implement it properly, right? That's why VAR is there. So you can go back to these incidents, these isolated incidents that will change the scope of a game and say, right, that is reckless. That is, it wasn't even a 2-foot challenge. It was just knee high. He's done his ACL. That's a 3rd-degree ACL tear, which is the worst one you can get. He'll be out for 6 months, 7 if he has that extensive rehabilitation, 5 if he's lucky, right? You know,
how old is he now?
Van Dijk.
Yeah,
26 or something.
26, yeah. So
he's older than 26.
Is he? I don't know.
I think so.
No, we're gonna get it. Hold on, I'll let everybody know how old Virgil van Dijk is.
But yeah, I'll carry on.
29.
29.
Yeah, he's 29.
I didn't think Virgil was that old.
Wow.
27.
That's a horrendous injury for someone who's 29 as well, man.
Well, look, listen, the medicine has changed these days, and you know, people like Dr. Richard Stedman will probably step in and help out. And you know, it's not like it was in the 80s where an ACL and you're done. I know footballers personally, they've had 2 ACLs, one on each knee, and they're playing still top level football. So I don't think it will affect him that much. It's a setback for Liverpool, because going back to your second question, Semps, we saw Calvert-Lewin's goal, how easy it was for him to get his head on the ball. Gomez, as good as he is, and I rate him as a ball-playing central defender, but he should be doing a lot better to try and clear that ball. I know it was Robertson that was marking the man, but as your second central defender, because Matip was out of position, Gomez should have been doing a lot better positionally to do that. And I don't think it helps that Alisson is out, because when you got your 2 key players, that's 2 parts of the spine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when those 2 players are out, goes back to the whole confidence thing. We saw Adrian making mistakes against Aston Villa, Gomez being caught out of position. Matip has just come back from injury, hasn't he? So it's going to be difficult. I'm more interested to see how Jurgen Klopp amends his system, or if he changes his system, because I know Liverpool playing with 5 yards further forward against Everton. They're playing with a bit more of a higher line. So I don't know if he's going to tend to drop deeper, or expect Wijnaldum to do more donkey work, or even Fabinho, because Fabinho could play centre back as well.
Yeah,
It's Fabinho, isn't it?
Yeah, Fabinho. Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting one, but again, it's another test for Jurgen Klopp, because he's still learning. Let's be real. You know, he came to the Premier League the first few months, they were getting muscular injuries, especially during Christmas. You know, hamstring injuries, thigh injuries. So he switched it up a bit. And, you know, but I'm sure you've seen that message I sent you earlier, Semps, about Liverpool losing another member of their
talk about that, because I wanted to bring that up as well. Explain what you said, what you showed me.
I forget the guy's name, but it's another...
Jose Luis Rodriguez.
Yeah, so it's the 3rd physio that's left Liverpool this calendar year, I think.
Yeah.
And 2 members of their rehabilitation staff have also left. So... in terms of a backroom staff, you know, getting people to place to rehabilitate, strength and conditioning, physios and whatnot, I don't know if that's going to have a major effect on them. Because I know people are going to say, well, Liverpool have been lucky with injuries and they haven't had that many recurrences. I know Oxlade-Chamberlain's out with an ACL. I think Thiago picked up a knee injury, but the scan showed that he's fine. Who else is out? Keita's out, but I think he's got COVID. So in terms of injuries, they're all right for the time being. Okay, take Van Dijk and Alisson out of the equation. With the rest of the players, it isn't a major problem. But the games are coming thick and fast now. They're coming thick and fast. It's almost as if, like, when lockdown ended and the football resumed, they're coming thick and fast. They've got a Champions League game midweek, don't they?
Yeah.
And then they've got a game at the weekend. And then, obviously, the FA Cup's going to come in January, because we're only like a month and a half away, aren't we? 2 months away, sorry, because we're mid-October. So 2.5 months away from the FA Cup. So it's another competition. So, yeah, the demands are going to be there. So they're going to get injuries. They're going to get this and that. And I don't know how it's going to affect them in the background, because if you don't have the staff there with the experience, I'm not saying that the people that have stepped in don't have the experience, but I don't know how much of a part to play, how big of a part it will play, because don't forget, a lot of physios know these players from a personal perspective. You know, they're sitting in the coaching, sitting on the medical bed. They're talking about their lives. They're talking about their wives. They're talking about their problems in life. They get to know them on a personal basis. And then when you got someone leaving the club and then a new guy coming in, how long is it going to take them to develop that trust, develop that relationship? I don't know.
It could be a big thing, because you always wonder about Liverpool's injury record is, you know, they're very good at keeping players fit. Do you know what I mean? It's
It's flawless at the moment, isn't it? Apart from those injuries.
Yeah, it's been one thing that you look at Liverpool, and they've always seemed to have that first 11 out playing all of the time. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a big test for Jurgen. And I don't know if nobody else noticed, but I noticed. I don't know if it's the change in system because Thiago's there now. But I didn't see Trent playing as further forward as he usually does. He wasn't putting in as many crosses as he usually does. I see Henderson going out there and was putting crosses in. I don't know if that's going to be, if that defensive side is playing on Jurgen Klopp's mind and maybe he's restricting them a little bit.
I think he was more worried about Digne, because Digne is a fantastic fullback and we've seen how he can deliver a cross. We know how good he is and he's a threat. So it's kind of going man for man, isn't he?
Yeah. And what would you say, Cahill, about Everton and the way they've started the season? You know, I've got £100 bet with somebody that Everton won't finish in the top 4. Right now, I'm sweating. Wait.
You don't think they're going to finish top 4?
No, I don't think they're going to finish top 4.
Oh, I think you may have lost £100, to be honest.
Easy now. So talk to us. What are you saying? What are you saying?
I think they have one of the best 3 midfielders in the country. Midfield in the country. I think James, Decore, and Alan were just 3 amazing signings that have pushed Everton to the next level. James, we all know, didn't exactly work out at Real Madrid, didn't exactly work out at Bayern Munich, but we all knew from that moment, that World Cup, that if he had somebody to put his arm around him and say, you're just to give him the confidence to play his natural game. We all knew there was a good player in there, and we've seen it over the first few games. Decore, yes, his team got relegated last season, but then again, he was on the list of every big team in the country. PSG were after him, but that move got turned down. So he's a quality player, and Alan's been solid for Napoli for a while. I think add that to Digne, to Seamus Coleman, that's just pushed them forward to a new level, and it doesn't harm them that Dominic Calvert-Lewin is bagging goals after goals after goals, which I don't think will drive. I think what Ancelotti has done, and I think what he said to Calvert-Lewin was, you're taking far too many touches. All good striker needs is 1 or 2 touches, and then you need to start shooting. And you've seen that in the way he's been playing this season, especially the goal against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, I think it was. He has been fantastic, probably the best player in the league this season, and I think that they can continue that, because if all those players buy into James, but they buy into Decore, they buy into Alan, they can ascend to another level. And they also got financial backing. They have, I think Usmanov is there, and their owner, so they got all the money in the world. So it's looking, if you're an Everton fan, it's looking quite good.
Okay, so Cahill also thinks that Everton will finish in the top 4, or could finish in the top 4. Stel, what would you say to that? Because I agree that they've started well. I agree that the first 11 is a good first 11. Calvert-Lewin has surprised me with the way he started. But
surprised me, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's doing it.
But as we know, it's a long season, and I worry about what they can do, whether they get some injuries to some key players. What do you think about Everton?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Listen, we can talk about them being top 4 contenders, and you can look at the other teams involved in that equation, because they're playing 2 games a week now. You know, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, Leicester, Europa League. Who else in the Europa League?
You say Spurs?
Arsenal, Spurs, Europa League.
Yeah.
Right. So
Arsenal aren't actually. Arsenal, you ain't playing nothing else, are you? Okay.
No, the Europa League.
Europa League. Go on FA Cup.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at you lot getting in through the back door. Oh yeah.
So these teams are going to be playing twice a week, and then Thursday, Sunday, whatever. So Everton will only be playing one game a week. On the flip side, number one, is their squad depth good enough? If Calvert-Lewin gets injured, where are the goals going to come from? Because Richarlison is out for 3 games now, violent conduct. So he's out for 3 games. Then you got to talk about the deficiencies at the back, right? We won't talk about the goalkeeper because we know what he's capable of doing.
Yeah, a mistake a game.
Precisely.
Game.
And look at Yerry Mina. Now, I love Yerry Mina. I've got this affiliation with Colombia, which I'm not going to go into, but Yerry Mina, if you saw Liverpool's goal, Salah's goal, right? He's tried to flick it away with the outside of his right foot, and it's gone straight to Mo Salah. But with 10 minutes to go, the ball's coming on the other side, similar height, and he's headed it away. He's done a diving header to head it away. I'm thinking, mate, why didn't you do that in the first place? Yeah. So again, it's the decision making. You know, I don't think Michael Keane is a fantastic central defender, but he does a job. Digne's superb. I think he's one of the best left backs in Europe. I think he's brilliant. Seamus Coleman, wrong side of 30. You know, injuries are going to catch up with him. I know they brought in Godfrey, but how long is it going to take for him to settle? So, you know, you can't rule them out. But at the same time, I'm not going to say they're definitely going to get there because all it takes, as you said, is a couple of injuries here and there. James Rodriguez might dip in form. And don't forget, it's Copa America year, isn't it? 2021. Yeah, and we know what South Americans are like when it comes to the build up to this competition. You know, they might down tools a little bit last few games. You never know. So, yeah.
Interesting stuff, man. Everton just can't seem to get 3 points against Liverpool. It doesn't matter what happens, and they're lucky to get a draw. That offside was a madness. What was your take on that, Cahil?
Yes, you can say it's a madness, but then again, I'd say offside is offside. It's
serious.
It's hard. No, but it's the case. Yes, it's fine margins, and yes, they have to get the red dots out, which always look stupid and always take far too long to make the decision. But offside's offside, man.
Offside is offside. That's what he says. Stel.
Well, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be fuming because I personally don't understand this offside rule anymore. I don't.
Me neither.
I don't. Because they say before it was like, oh, well, there's got to be daylight, which was a few years ago. Then it's like now the offside starts from where the sleeve is or some nonsense about
they've changed it this season, haven't they? It's from lower down on the arm apparently now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's farcical because last season it was a part of the body that you can't score a goal legally. So that's like your arm and your elbow and the top of your shoulder, wasn't it? Or something stupid like that.
Armpit or something like that.
So they're changing the rules. It's almost like the British government with COVID. They're making up as they go along. They're making up the lockdown rules as they go along. You know, you got some bumbling idiot in charge. You know, the referees association, PGMOL, whatever. They haven't got a bloody clue what they're doing. The poor bloke in the truck that's doing the whole lines.
Man in the van.
He's using Microsoft Paint, isn't he?
Yes.
I don't know. Like I say, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be fuming. But if I was an Everton fan, I'd be laughing my ass off because when you see the Liverpool staff celebrating that goal, and all of a sudden it's like, sit back down.
But you know what? I actually said this to Little A earlier. Still, I'm like, this is why certain fans, you shouldn't laugh at this at what happens to other teams, because this will come back and happen to you at some point this season. And for me personally, I don't want to see that in football. Like, you're looking at these lines, and how accurate is that as well? Because looking at a different angle, you would have a different line and all of that. Like, for me, I don't know how they fix it, but I'm thinking if you're somebody looking at the screen, if that looks onside, forget all the lines. If that looks onside, it's onside. If it looks offside, you give it offside. It should be, because VAR is meant to be brought in for clear and obvious errors. That isn't clear and obvious when you have to get out all these lines.
I think there should be a time limit, especially I think for penalties and stuff like that. No time limit, but because if it's clear, it's clear. You can see it. But offsides, because they take sometimes up to 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. I think you should just have a minute. If you can't find anything that obvious in a minute's time, then it's onside. I think that could be a rule. Could be a rule that they should introduce.
Yeah, and before we used to give the advantage to the attacker. So why?
A long time ago, that though.
I know, but why can't you look at this situation and be like, the lines are such a fine margin.
we don't quite. Let's just give the advantage and say that's a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of upset teams if that was the case, though.
I don't know, man. That's what I said. I think it swings and roundabouts. Everyone's going to be on the wrong side of that rule, and you're not going to like it when it happens to you. I don't think.
Well, the problem is with VAR, it's
Subjective.
It's about subjective. That's the problem, and it shouldn't be like that. You know, as you said, it wasn't a clear and obvious mistake. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Was it? Because we're still talking about it now. Was it? Wasn't it? You know, we're talking millimeters here. It's not okay if the ball had crossed the line and we're talking millimeters, then you can argue. But offside by what? The badge, the Premier League logo on the. Come on, man! This is ridiculous. It's killing the game. It really is. But it's because the people that have implemented the system, they're not using it properly. Like I said, it's an old lady with an iPad.
But you know what I think the issue is as well? Is not just that; it's the rules that are behind it. It's the rules behind VAR. I think the rules then probably need to change. Give these people in VAR a different sort of rule book to work from. That's what I think in this situation. That's what it should be. Because if the rule says, for example, I'm not saying they're going to do this or this is the right thing, but if the rule says, okay, if this isn't clear and obvious, then you don't give it. If it is, then you do. Rather than drawing out these lines, then they wouldn't do that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Semps, I've always said, right, when it comes to someone making these decisions, have someone that's played the game at a high level to make these decisions because they've seen it, they've experienced it.
Yeah,
I don't want some old man turning around saying to me, "Oh, well, you know, it's a millimeter offside because it's his sleeve." When you got someone that's played the game and has seen this happen week in, week out, and the knock-on effects it has, not just in terms of the result, in terms of what happens in the background, in terms of the scope of the season, one bad result, one bad decision can cost the club. And again, I'm going back here to Bolton Wanderers. Remember when they had the ball cross the line against Everton years ago? We're talking the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Blatant goal. But what happened to them? They got relegated that season. Okay, they came back up and they went back down. But look at where Bolton are now. Look at where they are now. It's changed the course of history. Do you get what I'm saying? I know people say, "Oh, you're just being pedantic," but it's a fact.
No. It is. It's big, man. It's big. Even last season, you know what happened.
Who was it? Was it Sheffield?
Sheffield United and Aston Villa.
United. Yeah. And they haven't recovered from that.
Yeah.
Have they?
And look, Villa stayed up.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah. That's why it's important that they get these decisions right, man. But yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen with these lot going forward. Everton, Liverpool, let us know in the comments. We're gonna have to close off soon, but just to get your opinions quickly, I just found out that Aston Villa ended up winning 1-0 against Leicester. Obviously, we didn't see the end of this game because we've been recording this. Ross Barkley scored in injury time. What has happened to Leicester, man? Jeez, losing again.
Brendan Rodgers, man, he doesn't know how to defend.
There we go, the defend again. This is the defense podcast. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, Leicester. But then they go and beat City 5-2, was it? Do you know what I mean? This is a crazy season. Aston Villa, 12 points from 4 games. Played. How
many players are they missing? They're missing quite a few key players. I think Pereira's injured, Maddison.
Yeah, I think Maddison, I thought he was injured, but I think he came on in that game, no? Let's have a look. Maddison.
Leicester have 7 players out. They have Ricardo, the right back. Vardy's out. Johnny Evans, Benkovic, I don't know who that is. Ndidi, Amati, Soyuncu. So there's key players there.
And Maddison didn't come on to the 68th minute.
Well, see, this is the thing, Semps. You've seen it time and time again in the Premier League. You got a shock result. A team plays out of their skin against a top team, and then weeks after they buckle. Look at what happened the week after against West Ham. They got slapped at home.
Yeah, slapped at home, boy.
But then you look at Aston Villa, who destroyed Liverpool. They're riding a crest of a wave, and you know what? Again, it goes back to something you and I spoke about with United, and I hate to bring this up again, but United, there are some teams that needed that international break. Because their form wasn't great. And don't forget, some players needed minutes.
Yeah.
Some players needed minutes. So this international break worked out good for some players. Okay, not for a lot who got COVID, but for players that didn't get COVID, they got minutes and it's boosted their match fitness, and then they've come back, and it's almost as if they haven't been away. So yeah, look, I hate international football. I can't stand it. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind the tournaments, but you know, this Nations League, these international friendlies, you know, I switch off after doing other things like painting and decorating, all that kind of stuff.
I'm the same, man. I'm not a fan of the international. What about UK? Are you a fan of it?
Like you said, tournaments fine, but yeah, no, friendlies or glorified friendlies like Nations League, definitely not.
Yeah, that's what I should say. Well, the last other games, Crystal Palace drew 1-1 with Brighton.
The Alan Mullery derby.
Yeah, the game that Brighton looked like they totally dominated that game and were losing 1-0. They got a late equaliser. Sheffield United drew 1-1 with Fulham. But yeah, man, won't talk about those games. One thing what we do know is that this league, this season looks open. So whilst in the beginning I thought Everton shout finishing top 4 was nonsense, I can't really say that is the case now. And then when I said Man City finishing outside the top 4, people looked at me crazy.
I agree.
You never know, that can happen. It's a really crazy start to the season, but we are only 5 games in, you know, and we are, as fans, can be quite reactionary. You know what I mean? This is still early doors. So probably we're going to need to see where we all are after like 10, 12 games, and then the league will start to take shape.
It's like when you watch the Premier League years and you see November, October, and you think, what happened that season?
Yeah. You see this team that was up there like in third place, like an Aston Villa, for example, in third place, and then finishing 11th or 12th. Yeah. So yeah, be interesting. But guys, thank you very much for jumping on. Kojo isn't here, so I'm going to put his links and stuff in the description of where you can find him. But Cahil, let us know where you can find you in 3inMidfield.
Twitter, the C_matching33. That's my personal, and 3inMidfield on Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify. You can find us there.
Brilliant. Stel?
Yeah, podcast Shoot the Defense on Twitter at Shoot Defense. I'm on Instagram, as I think you're gonna put the graphic, aren't you?
I'm gonna put it on there. Yeah.
And also the OLB on Facebook, which is an Omonia fan page. If you're into obscure football like Cypriot football, I'm your guy.
Wicked. Well, thank you very, very much. As I said, gents, for coming on. I'm Semps.
Thank you.
And these were my pundits. This is Everyone's a Pundit. Until next week, we are out. Peace.